Wow, what a week! The ground literally just shifted under the tech world. We witnessed a devastating crypto bloodbath, AI systems basically spiraling out of control, and historic announcements that are absolutely rewriting the rules of the entire gaming industry. It's a massive wave of disruption, and in this explainer, we are going to unpack exactly what happened, why it happened, and what it all means for you moving forward. Today, we're breaking this explainer down into three main acts: financial shifts, the AI Wild West, and finally, gaming breakthroughs. All right, let's jump right into Act 1, financial shifts. So, the cryptocurrency market just suffered its steepest weekly decline since the whole FTX collapse. We are talking an absolutely staggering $390 billion hemorrhaged in total value. To put that abstract number into perspective, that is roughly equivalent to taking the entire gross domestic product of a country like South Africa or the Philippines and just wiping it off the digital map in a matter of days. This wasn't a gentle correction, it was a sheer cliff drop. It sent shockwaves through trading floors everywhere and triggered around $7 billion in forced liquidations. Imagine billions of dollars evaporating overnight simply because traders were forcibly sold out of their positions in a total panic. The sheer brutality of this sell-off really hits home when you look at the heavyweights. Bitcoin plummeted below $60,000, which is a massive 17.3% plunge. Meanwhile, Ethereum and Solana both took a brutal 22% hit. What we witnessed here was a violent deleveraging event. Basically, a ton of traders had borrowed money to bet big on a huge summer crypto rally. When the market unexpectedly dipped instead of rising, those borrowed bets went sour fast. The exchanges essentially hit the panic button, automatically selling off those traders' assets to cover the loans. That forced selling drove prices down even further, creating this cascading avalanche that pushed the entire market straight into extreme fear. Now, here's the multi-billion-dollar question. What actually triggered this sudden avalanche? Are everyday retail investors literally cashing out their crypto to buy into the biggest IPO in American history? While things like strong jobs data and regulatory pressure played a background role, analysts are pointing to a massive structural shift in where the actual retail money is suddenly flowing. And the evidence strongly suggests yes. It is all being driven by SpaceX's mind-blowing $75 billion IPO. This offering completely bucks Wall Street tradition by carving out an unprecedented 25 to 30% allocation directly for retail investors. Historically, these massive pre-IPO wealth generation opportunities are strictly walled off for institutional elites and hedge funds. Regular folks simply don't get an invite. So, by Elon Musk offering up to 30% directly to the public at a fixed share price of $135 at a $1.75 trillion valuation, we're seeing a sudden, massive migration of capital. Demand has already hit an astronomical $150 billion. People are actively liquidating their digital assets just to get a piece of this space empire. And it gets crazier. When you stack SpaceX up against the looming, highly anticipated mega IPOs from OpenAI and Anthropic, you create a $240 billion liquidity vacuum. Think of it like a giant financial black hole sucking capital directly out of risk-on assets like crypto. This is a capital pull larger than every single venture-backed U.S. IPO since the year 2000 combined. For the crypto markets, just surviving this massive liquidity drought through the end of the year without totally collapsing is going to be the ultimate stress test. Let's move on to Act 2, the AI Wild West. We're looking at fakes, cyber threats, the whole chaotic frontier. Switching gears from the financial markets to your social feeds, Meta's AI For You algorithm has recently devolved into a full-blown misinformation factory. It is churning out these completely absurd algorithmically generated clickbait headlines with absolutely zero factual basis. We're talking spectacularly fabricated stories about the royal family secretly having two Queen Elizabeths, or totally unhinged claims about magical foods that turn back the clock 20 years. The AI is essentially hallucinating these bizarre details with supreme, misplaced confidence, creating a surreal alternate reality right in the middle of your daily scroll. It would honestly be hilarious if it wasn't so dangerously effective at keeping people hooked. Fact-checkers are frantically raising red flags because these posts heavily utilize something called weaponized empathy. Why does outrage or sympathy make us blindly click and share? Because AI has basically figured out the cheat codes to the human nervous system. By crafting false but emotionally gripping stories, the algorithm totally bypasses our critical thinking. It farms our natural, visceral human reactions on an industrial scale simply to boost Meta's engagement metrics and ad revenue. There's such a dangerous disconnect happening right now. Meta is clearly prioritizing infinite content generation and short-term clicks, entirely ignoring the devastating long-term cost, which is the total collapse of their platform's credibility. Despite explicit warnings from Meta's own oversight board about inadequate labeling of this synthetic content, the company is repeating the glaring mistakes of the past. It firmly proves that when it comes to maximizing time on platform, controversy and emotional manipulation still pay the highest dividends. The truth is basically an afterthought. Speaking of critical AI vulnerabilities, the software development world just faced a terrifying new threat called the miasma worm. This is a highly sophisticated piece of malware specifically designed to weaponize AI coding assistants like Claude and Cursor. For those outside of the development world, think of an AI coding assistant as a super smart autocomplete that helps programmers write software way faster. The genius, and really the terror, of the miasma worm is that it doesn't even try to attack the human developer directly. Instead, it tricks the AI into writing malicious code for the human. It plants hidden payloads that only activate when the AI processes the repository, meaning the AI is the one unwittingly introducing the virus. The timeline of this attack reads exactly like a digital heist, utilizing industrial-scale automation. The attackers started on June 1st by compromising trusted Red Hat packages. Just 2 days later, they flooded the NPM registry with poisoned code. And that very same day, they successfully breached 73 official Microsoft GitHub repositories. The attackers managed to steal highly sensitive cloud credentials. What makes this so staggering is the stealth. The miasma worm completely bypassed traditional security scanners by hiding in plain sight, silently stealing access tokens right off developers' machines while the AI did all the dirty work. So, the ultimate takeaway here is this. The attack surface of our digital lives has vastly expanded. Whether you're just a casual Facebook user checking the morning news or a top-tier developer managing software for a Fortune 500 company, blind trust is simply no longer an option. Artificial intelligence has created entirely new, largely undefended pathways for manipulation and theft. Because of this, active media literacy and rigorous supply chain security have fundamentally become mandatory modern survival skills. All right, let's move to our final act, gaming breakthroughs. Some really exciting new platforms and reveals here. Wrapping things up on a celebratory note, the gaming industry is currently undergoing a massive structural shift following Summer Game Fest 2026. Square Enix just announced Final Fantasy VII Revelation for spring 2027. And guys, they are officially pivoting from strict PlayStation exclusivity to a historic day one multi-platform launch. To understand why this matters, you have to realize that for decades, Final Fantasy has been practically synonymous with the PlayStation brand. Tearing down that walled garden of console exclusivity for a mainline title, especially the grand finale of this remake trilogy, is a seismic industry earthquake. This epic open-world finale will launch simultaneously across PS5, Xbox, PC, and, notably, the Nintendo Switch 2. Players will finally get to pilot the iconic high-wind airship across a fully open world. But, behind all the hype, this is really driven by pure economic necessity. AAA deemed development budgets have ballooned so massively over the last few years that selling a mega game like this to just one single console audience is no longer financially viable. Publishers absolutely have to launch everywhere simultaneously just to make their money back on these sprawling 7-year projects. In this strategy of hitting every platform at once was completely validated by Capcom, who officially confirmed that the AAA juggernaut Monster Hunter Wilds, along with its expansion, is actively in development for the Switch 2. This is incredibly telling. The fact that Nintendo's upcoming portable console has secured such a massively demanding game is a huge indicator of its hidden processing horsepower. It proves the next generation of handheld hardware can handle modern AAA releases without the massive visual downgrades we've seen in the past. That is a huge win for gamers wanting top-tier experiences on the go. From a $390 billion crypto crash driven by space race IPOs to AI fakes tricking our empathy and the totally borderless future of the gaming industry, the clear thread connecting all of these events is the desperate need for rapid adaptation. The rules are being rewritten in real time, and staying informed is really your best defense. So as we conclude this explainer, it leaves us with one critical question. Are you prepared to adapt your digital and financial survival skills for tomorrow's incredibly chaotic technological landscape? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I will catch you on the next one.